Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Speak On It Post Game Live. Western Conference Finals, Game 5. I am your host, Big Mike. Tonight is short and sweet, just like this series, but I am not here alone. I got the guys with me. My man Breezy in the building.
If I was a betting man, I mean, yeah, I'd be poor right now. First off, because the NBA has this thing where they push games further along than they should be. But that's a conspiracy theory for another day.
It's a big conspiracy, but accurate if Scott Foster's refereeing, which he did tonight. And our special guest for the evening, normally here for Celtics games, but because we didn't do post-game live last night, he felt like he had to come on here and double dip and give us some Warriors coverage. Blackheart is in the building.
I'm back, bitches. Yes, sir. You know what time it is. You know the deal. You know the steals. Let's go, C's. Let's whip the Heat's ass at game fucking 6 and less, please. Please.
I'm torn.
Give me some extra shifts to work, bruh.
I'm torn though because you got the green background, right? So you repping the Celtics, but you got the black, red, and white shirt on.
Don't disrespect my Kankashi shirt, man. I'm an anime head. You know what I'm saying?
Is that what that is, or are you subliminally saying something? If the Heat,
I ain't subliminally saying shit, B. He's one of my main guys in the whole fucking series. So if any of y'all are not fans, I feel sorry for y'all.
We will tap into that Celtics Heat.
I get you with my fucking shit on your ass. Matter of fact, I get you with my Renegon.
But we would be
Shmee, mate.
We would not. You have to give respect where respect is due. Tonight is about the Warriors. You can see it there if you're watching us live on the scroll. Golden State wins 120-110. They win the series 4-1. They are advancing to their 6th NBA Finals in 8 years. I mean, they were already a dynasty, but if you didn't know, the dynasty is back. Just textbook trademark Warriors game. They ran out early, and then they just kind of held Dallas away. Dallas made a furious comeback in the fourth. They tried, and then at the end of the day, it was just too many weapons. Clay just went off tonight. Felt good for Clay. It was a good feeling to see Clay knocking down them threes. He had 32 points tonight. He had 8 threes, including the dagger 3 that just Dallas had cut it to 10 with like 4 minutes to go. And then Clay just hit the 3 and just that's it. It's over. Yeah,
he was the grave robber.
Steph put him to sleep with a 3 in the corner. It was just, it was a Golden State. It was a Golden State game. Draymond was Draymond, just doing just a little bit of everything.
Is he underrated or overrated?
It's crazy, bro. Even without Wiseman, even without having a true center, he's still big into the NBA fucking finals. That's just say about the depth of that team and how much that they have up their arsenal, even without Wiseman. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to play him during the whole final series either. So he's going to be another rookie. Came on the team, won a championship without even playing.
Yeah, he's out for the rest of the playoffs. He's not coming back.
Listen, if they win, he'll be like, "It's the easiest ring I ever won."
And he's gonna make them more scary next year when he comes back.
When he does come back healthy and shit, and he's young too. So
shout out to Kevin Looney because he just
Yeah, he put
That
in work.
fourth,
He put in work
yeah,
the
he put
whole
in
entire
work.
pre-series. Yeah, he was putting in work.
He put in work tonight. So, and that's what DeAndre Ayton should have been doing to Dallas, but
Mm.
he didn't. So,
They ain't gonna cost him
uh,
that money now. Fuck
the
that.
only
They ain't gonna
real
cost him that
wrap
money.
ups I have, I felt like in that fourth quarter when Dallas came back, I felt like Luca ran out of gas. I felt like he was hitting that gas pedal, and it was nothing there. Dinwiddie tried to help and tried to bring him along, but I felt like Luca, he just ran out of gas. Classic. Where have you seen this before? When somebody does everything for the team and then he runs out of gas because he has to do everything.
And you
A
answered your
la
own
LeBron
question.
James. A la
And
LeBron James.
you answer that question. How many times did I tell y'all since I've been on here? That man cannot win this series by himself.
By himself.
He needs help. The same way how Troll and B sent out a tweet at Miami. It says that man down, that All Star needs help. They need another star in Miami because Jimmy's not going to be able to do it by himself. And you can see the damages that's happening with that. So trying to tell y'all, man. So Maverick fans, yeah, better start free up some of that money to try to draw another superstar to come play alongside Luca and beat the second string. For real, for real. They need a Chris Middleton down there.
They need something.
They need something because you try to have him burn both ends or both bridges and asking him to try to win two more games to make it to a game 7. That's a lot to ask for.
Did you feel like he ran out of gas, James? You thought it just wasn't good enough?
I don't know.
I mean, like I said, a team, it was just in over their heads, in over their heads. I think that they didn't have enough bullets in the gun for the Warriors. At the end of the day, that's just the honest truth. The Warriors, they could have not played 100% tonight and probably won tonight. That's how I feel. So
So, do you believe that the Mavericks are a one-trick pony?
no, no, because we saw flashes where Jalen Brunson would give you an average of like 20 plus points alongside Doncic, and that happened from the middle into the playoffs, in the middle of the season into the playoffs, and I think we need to see what else um Finney Smith can bring to the table, because we see that he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable with his offensive game. He's more of a defensive guy, and he's starting to get more of an offensive side to him. If you can figure out how to get him more implemented into the offense where he can give you a more consistent amount of points, I think they'll be all right. Plus, they're getting Tim Hardaway Jr. back as well. He might be traded, honestly, but if they get him back, because it's going to be kind of a weird situation with having Brunson having such an outbreak season that he's having this season, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. coming back. Do you sit Brunson? Do you try to make them coexist because Brunson plays the two when Doncic's out there, even though Brunson is the point guard, but he's a shooting guard in a point guard body, and Doncic is kind of like a point forward, so it's kind of weird. Where do you put Tim Hardaway Jr. when he's really like a kind of like a long shooting guard, because he's what, 6'8", 6'7", playing the
Six,
two.
7.
So it's like it's just a weird situation, but I do not think they're a one trick pony. They need a real big. Cleva is
They
Yeah,
need
not.
a big. They
they
need a
need a
big.
big.
They need a big. I think if they have a big with this team, they definitely make this a series.
Yeah, because they
Yes.
have a
So,
bench.
Yeah.
They have a bench.
so I
They
think
have
they need a big.
They
Powell.
got some depth to this shit.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, they only really need I say solidly 2 pieces.
Mhm.
Solid 2 pieces, and then they can creep the fuck back up within the next year or two.
But
Guaranteed.
but the thing is, we say they need a big, right? And in reality, the five position as a center doesn't really exist in today's NBA. We see.
We say that. You say that. I hear you. But then what did we see in the fourth quarter? Looney was killing them. He was getting offensive rebound. He
How
was
big is
killing
Looney?
them.
How big is Looney? 6'9", 6'8"?
No, I thought it was 6'7".
Yeah, see, he's not a big.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause one of us looked it up the other day when we was talking about that he was like the tallest one.
He's not a big.
All of Golden State.
But to my point, if you had a big on the floor, Looney can't do
A
that.
true big.
I don't think they need a true big.
But Looney's not going to hit. He had that one game where he was hitting those
I believe
shots,
every team needs at least a true big on their team. They like you'll see like I just don't see. I mean, like, I understand where like, you're coming from. Like the whole metamorphosis of the game of basketball has indeed changed. Where it's not about skill set like mine and like you can be a lights out shooter and then somehow you can get the fuck over like no fucking tomorrow. Because why? That's the hardest thing that's out right now because of certain people that made that shooter technique way more like, okay, this is what today's NBA is really supposed to be. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to go through this, like, it's certain changes, I guess, within like every 10 years. Different shit will come into play. Different style of basketball will come into play. That'll be the next hard thing. Right now, we just in the shooting age.
Oh, we got a entrance.
Oh,
entrance here.
New challenge,
man. Who's paying for this phone call? Who's paying for this phone call down there, man?
He either put the kids to sleep or he got
back. Who's putting minutes on his phone?
Dylan, what you do? Did you give all them kids NyQuil? What you do?
Melatonin.
Fucking melatonin. Rocks.
Oh, time. Damn.
Rocks.
AKA his fiance came
bye-bye,
That's
kids.
what happened.
Yes. He got back up.
He got back up.
Back from the dead.
Well, the Mad Producers here, Podcast Poppy. We were actually just talking about, is Dallas, Blackhart brought up a good question, is Dallas a one-trick pony? Is this a one-time thing? Can they get back? How are we feeling? We was talking about, I think we all came to the conclusion, they need a big, but how badly do they need a big?
And the state of basketball and how it changes now that really certain teams don't want to
don't have yet.
Yeah. So is there a true? Do NBA teams still need a true big on their team?
So yes and no. Because if you can get yourself a true big like a Joel Embiid, your life is a lot easier because nobody has anybody who could stop him. But the problem is Joel Embiid has bums for teammates who don't like to show up. So it's tough. Whereas like the Mavericks can easily get by getting a mid-level center like the Mitchell Robinsons, the JaVale McGee's, go get a shoot first point guard, like a 3-point sniper for a fucking point guard, and then go get another wing who could create. I don't think the Mavs are done. They're done if they don't do anything. They're done if they try to run it back with what they have and try to just rely on Luka scoring 45 a game. But that's not going to do anything for you when every other team in the West is deep. Like next year, the Clippers are literally coming back. Yeah, the Clippers have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and they have Luka's number. So you can't expect to run back against them with this team. It's not going to happen.
Can't wait for Luka to pack them up.
But like, unfortunately, we can only go off of what we know, and he just doesn't pack them up. So like, he just doesn't do that.
Listen, man. But how many times have the sports media have the Clippers to be one of the teams to beat in the West, and then look how many times they got their ass whooped in the West.
I mean,
no matter what the lineup that they had, they still lost.
We still haven't seen this healthy Clippers team with Ty Lue as a head coach, like throughout. Throughout a playoff run.
Listen, man, they just have
throughout a playoff run or for a round. I mean,
they were pretty healthy in the bubble, and they got packed the fuck up.
Was Ty Lue the coach?
Yes,
or was that Doc Rivers?
Oh, that was Doc.
I know it was fucking Doc. That's why I asked you. Because that's when they blew the 3-1.
3-1 lead.
I know this.
Listen, I think They need an upgrade from Maxi Kleber. Though Maxi Kleber stretches the floor and gives them threes, I think they need an upgrade. I think that size of a five works great for them. Any bigger of a five will make them slow down.
Well, yeah, that's
So
Boban. They
yeah, I
have that
mean
guy.
no,
He can't play.
yeah, no, yeah. If they get any bigger of a five, they're slow. If they get a JaVale, if they get a Gobert, if they get a Mitchell Robinson, or even though these guys run the floor and they and some of them are super uber athletic and stuff like that, having a big like that is gonna either slow down the pace of the game or clog up the paint because Luka drives.
But
So
then it's almost better to have that slow down the game when Luka's the guy handling your ball.
not if you're gonna get not if you're gonna get a penetrating guard like you want to add to it.
Exactly, but having a roller may do something
But
for
they
him.
have that though. They have that penetrating guard with Brunson.
I'm talking more so for the big, like
Right.
having the roller, having a center
That's
who's
not
good on the
what
pick
your
and
role
roll.
is really
So
supposed
then they
to
need
be.
a
So, like,
they
you
need a
need a
roller. They
body
need
like
DeAndre
that.
Ayton.
He's the guy who I said they're going to be getting. I think it's a no-brainer. You're going to have to let Brunson walk. You're gonna have to get rid of Tim Hardaway's contract.
We
You
were
go and
just
you
talking
spend
about
money
that
on
too. Like,
DeAndre
like, how's that
Ayton.
gonna work?
He doesn't
And
have
with
to
Tim
clog
Hardaway
the
comes
paint.
back.
He doesn't clog the paint. He's
I don't think
somebody.
they need to let Bronson walk. I think they take him and they try to do something with Hardaway's contract, trade him off where contracts match in a sense, and get a better what is it
Shit. I'm about to say
three.
San Antonio would be a neighboring situation where they can actually try to work out a deal just to get him off the off the playbook and everything like that.
Luka does not
got a
move well
comment.
without the ball. The offense is built for him to have the ball. That's where it's tough. Like Jalen, as good as Jalen Brunson is, when Jalen Brunson has the ball, Luka doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's completely different dynamic because Brunson literally just runs around in circles until he gets to the spot into the basket and either gets a good shot or he passes out, and then Luka's just kind of just sitting there because he doesn't move without the ball. But if they have a guy who can actually create a shot besides Luka, like by himself, we're looking at this team a little bit differently. You go get him again, a solid 3-point shooter at the point guard to just play the one, play defense. Bringing a guy like Ayton who could stretch the floor a bit to like 17 footers, can roll to the basket and then swing out to corners. Like, there's a world where this Dallas team makes two to three moves and is now a serious contender to be there. But that is also depending on nobody else doing anything.
What guard do you see making that dynamic change?
That's where it's kind of like tough to see.
Mike?
I don't know one that's available. I don't know.
I mean, if Bradley Beal wasn't in his contract situation,
Bradley Beal's a free agent, and I'm hearing he's gonna.
I'm just like, I'm like, if they're going to resign him, though, there's no team that's going to trade for him and going to take up that contract.
No, there's teams that would.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, he's worth, like, I think worth like what, close like 120 mil.
He's a max player
for like 4 years.
He's a max player.
Yeah, so
it's not like that's
a max, right?
Yeah, he's super. Yeah. It's not like it's the Westbrook contract where it's like you're gonna get all this money and you're gonna get different production. You know what you're gonna get with Bradley Beal,
right?
You know what you're gonna get with Bradley Beal.
I just think when it comes to that is how much is a certain team willing to give up to get him over there, and there's probably certain teams, especially in Washington situation, they're gonna want some picks first. So you can't offer that along with any like
Blackhart. I'm gonna tell you a little secret about the NBA and draft picks.
No one cares.
80% of them don't fucking matter.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So trade them all. Who cares? Bradley Beal is more valuable than a 19-year-old on any team.
Bill is definitely going to sign that 250 with Washington because he's probably not going to get that anywhere else.
Oh, yeah. He'll sign it, and then he'll be like, all right, bye. Trade me. Get the bag.
Well, a whole Jimmy Butler from Minnesota move. Get me the fuck out of here.
Get me the bag. Like,
give me the bag first, then I leave. Trade me.
Mm-hmm. But as far as like the state of the NBA goes, the NBA in like 6 years is going to look how Toronto looks, and I stand by this, where they're going to have a team 1 through 5 of guys who are 6'10", to 7 feet tall, all who are just crazy athletic, all who can just play defense. It's Toronto and it's Cleveland.
And in
Like,
that world, Ayton dominates the league.
Dayton kills that league. But then you have guys like Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and Lauri Markkanen as your front court, and you're like, shit. It's 3 7-foot dudes in a 2-3 zone with 2 other 6'9", 10 guys who can just play up there. It's like all you guys got to do is just put your arms together. You just made this sick wall, so nobody can just penetrate, and you just guard 3-point shots all day.
Nothing but alley oops too. When you think about that as well.
It's just defense and transition.
Yeah, because just imagine just a wingspan. Imagine just a wingspan that each one of those players will have. And it'd be fucking just damn ridiculous.
Yeah, that's where it's going to end up going. It's all going to end up trying to be like, we're going to take it. You think that's a fantasy, but it's a reality. Man. There's 2 teams already building it, and once they see that guys like Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, all these bigger dudes could do it, teams are going to try to do that.
I think a true point guard is going to find ways to penetrate.
A true point guard will try to do it.
Yeah, that's not going to always work.
It's not going to always work, but that's what the teams are going to try to build. Like
the guys that are gonna the future point guards that are gonna look like the Drew Holidays of the league are gonna kill those type of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 teams were both in the playoffs. Cleveland before they got hurt were literally the 4th seed, and Toronto played a tough series against Philly, and they're all like under 25.
Yeah, I mean
those teams are going to give
Darius Garland is not that tall though. He's 6.
No, he's the only one that's not that tall, but he's a hooper. I'm not saying those guys aren't going to exist anymore, but like the teams are going to be trying to build that way because they see that it can give fits to majority lineups. Will it work? Probably not, but like it can, and we saw proof of it working to an extent. Like that Toronto team is no slouch team. It's just they ran into the one team designed to beat that, which is a team with a real 7'2" center who could just dominate.
And we'll see. I think the guards,
again, they're all under 25 years old, and better coaches are around, so we could try that later.
And there's going to be more better coaches coming in too.
Yeah. But again, that's 6 years in the future. Like
the
that's
old,
at least
the
6
old
years.
guard is starting to slowly slip away, and now the new guard is starting to come into play.
If Nick Nurse leaves the Raptors and goes to the Lakers, if that happens, who is the guy to coach that team?
There is no guy. Nick Nurse is the perfect guy for that team.
And then what happens is that team gets traded up and
that whole team gets traded up. But again, that's up to Masai Ujiri to figure out, because nobody knew who the fuck Nick Nurse was when he took that job to begin with. After they fired Dwayne Casey, who was there for fucking ever.
Go after Juwan Howard.
Yeah, they're gonna go after Juwan Howard, and he'll be able to figure that shit out. But like, these are all the things that you run into. Saying something 6 years in the future isn't like ludicrous, because if you'd have told in 2010 what the game would be in 2016, where everybody's shooting half-court fucking threes, everybody was like, that's not how it's going to be.
It's the risk you take for being the guy that was ahead of his time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was saying, like, every like decade is always going to be like a change within the game, that this is where it's just going to be at, for that defines an era for at least a good decade or so. It's just trying to keep evolving from there.
NBA 2K, my team. Remember the my team era, like 4 years ago, Mike, when you can have Tmac at the point and Ben Simmons at the point, Tmac at the 2, all these Rudy Gay at the 5,
just
3,
these long athletic wings,
5, just KD at the 4, and you
that
just
can
have
shoot.
Just 6'10" lineup, 16 plus lineups, but.
There's really a world where that's going to be a thing. You're going to see a lot of the younger teams start going that way. Like Orlando's probably be on that way too, because they got the in the draft. They're more than likely going to take Chet. Who knows what's going to happen with Mo Bamba? Then you also have guys like Wagner, who's also another 7'2" forward who plays small forward, by the way. So they're also right there with getting a whole
All
line of
those guys
six
are-
men.
I know that for a fact, Dylan, because I had it in my fantasy league.
Yeah. So it's like, granted, their guards are small, but Orlando literally has no idea what they're doing, so that whatever they do is going to fail.
Exactly. They
They're
have all
NBA
those guys
Siberia.
with all that talent, and they're going to suck. Still.
NBA
Hey,
Siberia. Save Cole Anthony.
Hey,
Cole Anthony can play.
Save Cole Anthony.
Cole World.
Oh,
Cole World.
damn! Edmonton just won this fucking series for Calgary. Damn,
Edmonton
gentlemen
won?
sweep. Gentlemen sweep.
Wow.
In overtime, 5-4.
Another
Also
team
save
that can
Jalen
beat
Suggs.
Another team that can beat the Rangers. Another one.
Hater.
Such a hater.
Yeah.
Dylan, don't make Dylan play the song.
Because all he's gonna do is just continue to talk crap about the Rangers while his Devils are sitting on the bench right now, just sitting at home.
Trash.
Don't worry, you'll be sitting right next to me pretty soon.
Yeah, the Rangers
Yeah.
look
Hoping
like
for
the
that,
same way
but right
too.
now you guys are sitting.
Rangers look like the
right
same
now.
way too, man, and they'll win. They'll win Game 6. Because I'll be real interesting though, because they be pulling little comebacks out their asses lately, man. I'll be like,
But
I should
by
not
injuring
be
the other
in this
team's
game,
best
but
player,
some of y'all
that's how they-
press the
that's how
fuck
they
back
do
within the
this.
same period, bro.
Did you
Hey,
guys
I really
see,
didn't watch hockey like that, bro.
Because he's a hater. So he's gonna spew these narratives out. Oh, because they hurt the other. Shut up, nigga.
Narrative. Sidney Crosby didn't get hurt. Okay.
Did you guys hear Draymond go out on Inside the NBA and say they're playing Boston?
Oh.
Steph tried to be politically correct. He was like, "Oh, it don't matter who we play." And Dre was like, "I'm gonna tell you who I think we're gonna play. We gonna play Boston." And Shaq was just like, "That's why we love you, Draymond."
But he said it on the podcast like a week ago. Like, who would I pick to play? I mean, he'd be like, you know what? I picked Boston to play.
No, well,
They
yes,
got, like,
but
a really good
this
team
is for
to
the
face
people who
and all
don't
that type of
listen to the pod. There's a lot of people who watch
Yeah.
the greatest sports post game show in the world, and are like, "Yo, Draymond Green just said he's gonna play Boston." You know what's gonna hit ESPN in the morning? Draymond Green going on Inside the NBA saying they're gonna play Boston, not him going on the podcast saying it.
Shock value.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hey, man,
and guess what? After seeing that game yesterday, Boston is winning that fucking series. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That series is over.
Yeah.
That series is over.
Had to meet some adversity. I have Heat in 7, so I needed this adversity. I still believe. I believe.
I don't know. After seeing yesterday's, me and Mike were leaving Yankee Stadium yesterday. Like, oh, we're about to witness a good game in the car. Let's hurry up. And then, bam, this motherfucking game goes out the window, and we get to hear some terrible commentating on the fucking radio. The radio, ESPN radio was awful. Doris Burke was great, but whoever was that
hot
right?
Like,
that better not
hot like fish grease.
Oh,
you should have switched to try to find the Heat
the local station. Channel. We should have put it on the
local
radio.
Heat radio.
Yeah,
commentators are the worst. Me and Mike know we've listened to them before. They're so biased. Like a lot of local radio stations are biased, but the Heat, that shit is like is gut wrenching, bro.
That game got so out of hand so fast where Miami just forgot how to play fucking basketball. And it was just wild because at the end of the third quarter, Boston starts going on this run, and Miami has zero chance. All Miami did the whole fourth quarter was try to get Duncan Robinson open to shoot threes. It was awful. It was awful.
Did that Jaylen Brown dunk just put the exclamation point on that damn game? I was like, nope.
I will tell you what, that Jaylen Brown dunk was good, but it was not as good as everybody made it seem.
I was
made it seem like
it was like a monster dunk. I'm like,
it was a nice dunk, but the radio, because I was watching the game on my phone as well. So the guys on the radio made it seem like they murdered Bam. Like he just killed that man. And Mike's like, oh, and I watched it. I was like, Bam was just there. He just kind of moved to the side and just kind of let it happen because Jalen took off the launch pad. There was no way.
He's in that poster.
He's in the poster, but I was like, man, they're acting like it was like the Andrew Wiggins dunk on Luka.
Hey, listen,
it was not that.
I'm a Knicks fan, right? But they're acting just like how the Knicks were in the 90s with the Starks dunk. Oh, Starks dunked on Michael Jordan and he wasn't even in the frame, you know? But a lot of Knicks fans will call me I'm betraying the Knicks shield, and I'm not caping for the Knicks because I'm not
What
going along
shield
with
you guys
the crap.
have?
Gotta
Yo,
protect your
man,
guys.
don't
I
make
mean,
me.
I mean, listen. I understand that's our hometown, defensive mechanism, and I totally understand. That's me with my Celtics. So how you think I felt?
Listen,
I'll be like, yo, listen, man, but this defense though, man. And I get real defensive, but that's just part of the routine. If you're a sports fan, you get defensive when it comes to
That series is over. Pack it up, Boston in 6.
Boston in 6.
But shout
Again,
out
they
to
going back to
me
Boston.
getting my Golden State in 5 pick. Let's go.
Oh, for sure. I was really thinking it was gonna be a game 7 situation. It was gonna be a dogfight out, but nah.
Nope, not in the Bay.
I should have seen one superstar versus three superstars on one other
Not
team
in the Bay.
that been there before, and I should have just said, you know what, I'm just going with the Warriors at 5. I would actually say probably a sweep. That was fucking case, but
And it was
that was too harsh.
An ass whooping. The typical playoff game that we've seen this year. Ass whooping.
Man, if I was a betting man, that's why my hashtag is that tonight. Because if I was a betting man, I'd be broke right now. Because my takes didn't pan out.
Let me tell you, I missed tip off. I forgot to put my money into FanDuel before tip off because I was picking Clay like plus 4.5 threes, and I was trying to go
at the game that he was supposed to have last game for the sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And in the beginning of this pod, I started this pod off by saying the NBA has this thing where they have they had an affinity for pushing games out longer than they're supposed to be, or a series longer than they're supposed to be, because this series was over. We all know the series was over, and then Scott Foster wasn't even reffing the game, but you would have thought he was there last game instead of this game. Because shit, there was so many bad calls and skeptical calls in that game to waver towards the Mavs, but it is what it is. I said Heat and 6 for this series. Obviously, it's not gonna be like that, but don't be surprised if this series goes 7.
I would not be surprised. Yeah. If Miami came into Boston and punched him in the mouth, I would be the least surprised person here, because literally every other game has been a punch in the mouth. Has been punch him out before halftime, except for last night where last night was the game 1. They mimicked game 1. The third quarter they go on that run, and they close it out. But I think Boston getting the momentum of taking another one in Miami, then going back to TD to close it out, that's tough. That is tough to beat.
Yeah, so, man.
We will see. I'm excited. That's going to be a great game, hopefully. Or if it's a blowout, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Hey, I am too.
I'm getting tired of wasting my time watching these basketball games that are over so early.
That he has right now, I figure this should be pretty damn effective for y'all. At least 2 or at least 3 people gotta be at least plus 20.
I fucking stopped watching the game tonight and I watched Sing 2 with all these fucking kids. Came back and I'm like, this game's still over. This game's still fucking over.
That's
I was dad. I enjoyed Sing 2, man. It was a good movie.
I was on another part. I had to jump on my phone or ESPN to keep up with the score. And I was like, this is over. There's no way. You're not going to make a
Dallas went on a little run within
a 21-point comeback and beat them in game 5 in their backyard. I was like, yeah, no, this is game over.
How much stock do you guys put in the NBA trying to constantly, time after time, find a predecessor of Kobe? Because now it was Booker, and now who is it? Tatum.
All of the stock. And the NBA, I put all my
the other
stock in
disciples
trying
that
to
went to
find
that
the next
Kobe
Kobe because they want it to be somebody so bad. And Devin Booker last playoffs was good, really, really good. And then got to the finals, kind of disappeared. And then he had a decent playoff run, and then they played that series, and he didn't play great.
And he played that game where
he didn't play great. And they're like, we're gonna take that Kobe thing away from Booker for a while, and then we're gonna go put it on Tatum. But
it's bad juju, man.
It's tough. You can't like let these guys be their guys.
Yeah,
it's
right?
bad juju.
Let them be them. It's one thing for like Kobe to be compared to Mike because he literally stole his whole flow, but like because they literally were the same. They were the same player, but you can't make these guys who aren't that player. Like it's tough. Tatum, he tries to do some Kobe things, but he's not. They play different. They play too different. I'd say Tatum plays more like fucking McGrady than he does Kobe.
Tmac, yeah.
He plays way more like McGrady than Kobe. And that's the same thing for like Paul George and all these bigger forwards with handles. They play more like McGrady than they do Kobe.
I can stand by that.
Like, or Vince, like that style of fucking forward ball, like anybody who's 6'8" or over who could just do shit athletically. Kobe's play style is different. I hate that shit. Hate it. It's this one thing if it's like you're Luka and you play the way you play and you get compared to guys like Bird and like LeBron because they do that shit. They literally do that shit the way that he does it. But like anybody who's just really into a game and makes angry faces and hits a couple of fadeaways as Kobe, that's just fucking stupid. That's just fucking stupid. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Any intensity fadeaway. Nice on any intensity, a fadeaway, and then there's between this height of 6'6" and 6'8", Kobe Bryant.
And then you got Devin Booker who's like 6'3", and he was getting the Kobe favor because he just hit a bunch of mid-range fadeaways. Like it's okay to let these guys just be them. Like it's really all right. Not everybody has to be Kobe. Not everybody has to be Mike. Not everybody has to be Bron. Like they could be themselves.
But that's just how the media is today, man.
Well, yeah, that's why it's so hard to watch a lot of fucking like First Take and Undisputed anymore because it's all just recycled trash takes trying to be fucking. Who's the next this? Who's the next that? No, let these guys be them.
Baby
let
Bird.
Tatum be Tatum.
Let Luka be Luka. Let all these young superstars be themselves and redefine themselves.
It's tough. It's tough because they only do it for these all-time greats. They don't do it for literally anybody else, which could be better comparisons. But God forbid someone's like, "Oh, Jason Tatum, wow, that's very Tracy McGrady of him," even though most of the shit he does is Tracy McGrady of him.
Except he wins.
Talk about play style, Michael.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's similar.
Look at you, just seeping through your pores. Hate is seeping through.
There's no hate. There's no hate. That is an absolute fact. There's no hate. That is a fact.
You are full of hate. When it comes to Tracy McGrady, you are full of hate.
When it comes to Simon Yeti, that's full of hate.
That's hate.
He's got Tracy McGrady too.
That is a legit fact. Jason Tatum is already a bigger, a more accomplished winner than Tracy McGrady.
Is Jason Tatum a Hall of Famer?
My argument is going to always be better team, and Mike knows that because when me and Mike already had this debate before, when I rattled off the teammates that Tracy McGrady had,
I was here,
which was disgusting. So if you're sitting here and Tatum has the counterpart of Jaylen Brown, who can give up 30, 50 if he's scorching hot one night, and then you got the defensive player of the year on your team as well. It's a completely different
two all NBA defensive players on your team.
Right, Tmac, Al Horford there too. Finally getting to the main stage in his whole entire career.
Completely different.
You know he's going to want to go hard for that. That's going to be his only chance.
Luis Scola.
So
wow,
great players are not supposed to have expectations now.
Here we go, Mike. You can't pander, bro. We this is the same thing as we was having.
What were your expectations for the Mavs going into the playoffs?
The second round.
Me too. Same thing. No bullshit.
Because
I thought they was really. I thought they was really
because it was one guy and nobody else.
No, no, for real.
And that one guy was able to elevate them, and it's exactly what happened.
Really?
Luka didn't drag this team
Luka
here.
played one game in the first round. So what did he do to elevate anybody?
He played more than one game. He missed the first two.
He played 2 games.
He missed the first 2 games.
Sorry.
But Luka did not drag them to the conference finals. Hello?
If those are two different arguments.
Oh, they're 2 different arguments? Is Phoenix not better than Dallas? Phoenix not better than Dallas?
Is he dragging them or is he making them a better team? Which one is he?
I don't care how you want to spin it. Tracy McGrady never did that. He never did that.
Did Tracy McGrady ever play a team that completely melted down against them?
Did I spin something just now? Or did Mike say that?
So now Phoenix completely melted down and we're not going to give Luka credit for it.
I gave Luka his credit, but they also melted down.
Both can be true.
Neither one of them are mutually exclusive. But how many playoff games does McGrady put up 35 plus and nobody else can give him 15? That should happen all the time. And when Luka's teammates didn't give him 15, what happened? They would get dog walked.
So again, we're when it's not the popular narrative that we want, it's the team's got to help him and do something. But when we don't like him, it's he's got to step up.
Ooh, that's literally the price of being a superstar, Mike.
So
no matter what, Mike,
I'm asking, at what point does Tracy McGrady get accountability? Where's the line? Where's the line?
Who do we hold accountable for the Mavs losing
tonight? Golden State is better than
this series.
Golden State is better than them.
Who do we hold accountable?
Golden State is better than them.
McGrady was carrying around guys who in 2K are overall 71s.
Let me ask you a question. If this series we just watched, if Dallas went up 3-1, you don't think Luka can get them one game?
Against the Warriors,
If that Dallas team went up 3-1, you don't think Luka could get them one game?
It's questionable. Because the reason why I say it's questionable because Luka can give you 40, and if his supporting cast does nothing, they lose.
Luka's supporting cast is also better than Tracy McGrady's supporting casts.
You got a point.
And that's what's sad. Name one guy who is on the level of Spencer Dinwiddie on any of those Magic teams.
Wait. The only 2 people that Tracy McGrady had ever next to him was Steve Francis before he actually went down with his injury, and Vince Carter before that whole thing defracted, and then they went their separate ways.
He had Grant Hill in Orlando. They never played together. He goes to Houston. Him and Yao Ming are never healthy at the same time.
Never.
So find me a guy who's just as good as Spencer Dinwiddie in any of those Orlando Magic teams that he played with.
Jameer Nelson.
He didn't even play with Jameer Nelson.
Did it?
No, I don't think so.
There's not a single player on those Magic teams that he had were better than Spencer Dinwiddie.
Wait. I think it was Rashard Lewis.
Didn't have him either.
Nope.
Didn't have him either. McGrady was out of Orlando. What? 04?
Yeah, you might be right because I think he came in. I think maybe
because he was in Houston in 04 with fucking Yao Ming. And then their careers literally went
later because he was on that Turkoglu and Dwight Howard team.
Yep, after he already spent time.
That was the one that I was thinking too. That's why I was saying that because they had been re-signed like the previous I think like year or 2 before that.
Mike, can you find me another teammate as good as Reggie Bullock on those Magic teams?
I'm sure I can.
I'm sure you can't because they're not there.
Sure I can.
Or how about Jalen Brunson?
Jalen
Brunson? Anybody as good as Jalen Brunson on those Magic teams?
The Jalen Brunson that had 10 points today?
The Jalen Brunson that literally, if we were making an all playoff team, would be first team all playoff?
He'd be second team.
Second team's just as good, Mike.
Maybe
still an
third
all
seed.
playoff. He carried
Listen, being on
that
one
first round
of
series.
the teams is still good for something.
Jalen Brunson by himself got a bunch of wins without their best player on their team. 40 in game one, Michael. Find me another Tracy McGrady teammate that scored 40.
Where it is the accountable. So he's good enough to get these leads in these series, but that the team's not good enough to close the series. The supporting cast is good enough to get him there, and then he's the superstar that's supposed to close the deal, and he never did. And
he
yet
got a
still
ton of
sit
accountability
here and
for
go,
that.
well, the team's not that good. They were good enough to get leads in all these series and then fell apart. And he's the leader.
His
he's
Houston
the
playoff
one
run
that's
was his
supposed to
best
stop
chance,
the
and he
bleeding.
lost those leads. I will give you that. But at that point, how many healthy seasons did he have after that 2008 run, Michael? Can you tell me?
None of that is relevant.
Yes, it is. It's very relevant.
It's not. I'm gonna tell you
it's
why
very
it's
relevant.
not. Because
tell me why it's not, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Because we can't, in one breath, say that he had this great career and he's one of the all-time great shooting guards of all time, and then when we start comparing him to all-time great shooting guards, then turn around and go, well, he was injured, so we gotta give him a pass. No, we're either judging him on what he did, or we're giving him a pass and he's in a lower tier. It cannot be both. We can't put him in that room with them guys, and then when we start comparing him with those guys and see that them guys did way more than Tracy McGrady, then go, well, he was injured, so let's give him a pass. He can stay here, but he's not really with them. Like,
Mike,
it's not the both. We can't do both.
Before I let you go,
he was injured. I get that he was injured.
I want to ask Mike something. If he was never
injured, he might have had the career that you think he had, but injuries robbed him. So we have to take that into account.
When we talk about the 2015 NBA Finals and we talk about LeBron and the Cavaliers, why do we say that team lost?
Because Kyrie got hurt. Kevin Love was hurt.
Why does LeBron James get that excuse?
Because he was better than everybody in the series.
Anybody else
He's
that same benefit of the doubt.
And they still
be
lost.
Consistent, Michael.
But
if you're going to give one person the benefit of the doubt about having injuries in a series, give another guy that same benefit of the doubt. Be consistent.
But that's one series. That didn't happen to LeBron over and over and over again, and then we still say LeBron is the greatest of all time. That happened in one series. That's an outlier. That's why we can point that out and give LeBron a pass for that, because it's an outlier. That's why we give LeBron a pass.
Why did the Lakers miss the playoffs this year?
Because they're old.
And
injuries.
And injured? They're old and injured. Okay, great. Thank you.
Why did they pass for that? They don't even pass for this series.
What about last year? Why did they get out in the what happened the year before?
Street clothes.
Oh, so he had an injured teammate?
Street clothes.
Injured teammate? So your teammates matter now?
So
your teammates being injured matter now?
So
especially when we paying all that money, right? And then he said,
I'm just saying,
he was so healthy.
If we are going to be consistent here and give one person an excuse of having injured teammates, we should also give another guy that same leeway of having injured teammates.
I just got one thing to do. All right. So Tracy McGrady went to the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. All right. 8 times. 5 of those times he was the man, right? So that's 3 years in Orlando, 3 years in Houston. I'm going to say 3 years, even though that last year he was like a shell of himself because he was injured. But we're going to say, what is that?
6 out of 8.
6 out of 9. Sorry. 6 out of 9. Because I was saying 8 because that Toronto, that was him and Vince Carter. But we're going to say 6 out of 9, right? 3 and 3. All right. 2001 Orlando Magic's roster. Listen to this. Corey Alexander, John Amaechi, Daryl Armstrong, D. Brown, Andrew DeClerc, Michael Doliak, Pat Garrity, Troy Hudson, Bo Outlaw, Elliot Perry, Don Reed, James Robson, Monty Williams, Grant Hill, who he didn't play with, and Mike Miller. That's the 2001. That's that roster.
Mike, tell me that team was good.
That team was not good.
That team was awful.
Stop, wait, stop. All right, stop. No, don't go into.
Oh,
this.
don't.
No,
give
no.
context.
I said I'm reading.
Wait.
Don't give context.
I said I'm reading off
the
the rosters.
Don't give context. Okay. All right, no, go ahead.
What context can you give to that?
Next roster.
Okay. Next roster. 2001, 2002 Magic. The roster states Daryl Armstrong again, D. Brown, Judd Butchler, Andrew DeClerc, Patrick Ewing, Pat Garrity, Horace Grant, Troy Hudson, Steve Hunter, Jaren Jackson Sr., Tracy McGrady, Bo Outlaw, Don Reed, Gerald Sasser, Monty Williams, Grant Hill, Horace Grant, Mike Miller. Basically the same team. Swapped out like 3 nobodies for 3 other nobodies. Okay, now then we go to the 2002 to 2003 team. The roster states Daryl Armstrong, Pat Burke, Andrew DeClerc, Pat Garrity, Gordon Gerchik, Drew Gooden, Horace Grant, Grant Hill, Ryan Humphrey, Stephen Hunter, Sean Kemp, Mike Miller, Olmidi Odije, Gerald Sasser, Jacques Vaughn, Chris Whitney, Trace McGrady. That's his 3 years in Orlando. And then you got his 3 years in Houston. This 04-05 roster states Vin Baker, Andre Barrett, John Barry, Torrey Braggs, Reese Gaines, Jawan Howard, Jim Jackson, Brandon Knight.
Now, there's your first player that's better than Reggie Bullock right there. Okay.
Who?
Jim Jackson in 2004?
He was almost 40 years old.
So stop it. This is not like this is fucking 1998 Jim Jackson.
Yeah, I remember back then the league was a lot older.
Come on.
And
even still, the fact that you just said he's better than Reggie Bullock, who was one of the worst players on that.
You said find me one person better than Reggie Bullock.
Jim Jackson.
I find one,
and it took you 4 teams.
Because I'm just letting James just run off. Because Daryl Armstrong was better than Reggie Bullock.
Even Grant Hill actually won the championship.
It's neither here or there,
but who am I to say?
Grant Hill never played.
No, but at least he had won the championship prior to that with Detroit.
Grant Hill don't got no championship.
He wasn't there. He was the first piece after everybody was gone. He was the new generation of Pistons when they changed their uniforms and everything.
Yeah,
him and Allen Houston. He wasn't on that championship team. And that championship team was 88 and 89.
That's not the one I'm talking about.
He wasn't on 04 either. He was in Orlando.
Moochie Norris, Rod Strickland, Bob Shura, Maurice Taylor, Charlie Ward, Clarence Weatherspoon, David Wesley, Yao Ming. Oh, Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue was on that team. That's the 04-05 Rockets. 06-07 Rockets, because it didn't make it the next year. Says something about that team. Then the next team, we get a little bit better here. This might have been his best team.
This team and the 08 team, I think, are his best teams.
Rayford Austin, Shane Battier, Chuck Hayes, Luther had Juwan Howard, John Lucas III, Tracy McGrady, Dikembe Mutombo, Steve Novak, Scott Paget, Kirk Snyder, and Vasily Spanoulis, and Jake Skelidis, and Bonzi Wells, and Yao Ming. That was probably his best team. It had some vets there. And then the last one, which is the 07-08 roster, and the roster states Rayford Austin, Shane Battier, Aaron Brooks, Steve Francis, Gerald Green, Mike Harris, Chuck Hayes, Luther Head, Bobby Jackson, Mike James, Bobby Jones, Carl Landry, Dikembe, Steve Novak, Luis Scola, Bonzi Wells, and so on and so forth, and Yao Ming. So those are his glory days in the playoffs. And you tell me he had a team that was supposed to go deep enough where he was supposed to be the star, and his supporting cast was going to push him over the next level.
That 08 team was the closest team that he had, and
But he was injured.
Yes. And then in 09, they had a really good team, but then he was also injured because 09 is when they had our test.
He barely played that season at all, if that.
Like I'll give him McGrady when times were tough for him to close out a series. I always gave him shit because he needs to close out the series. But at the end of the day, it's also a team game, and he can't get all of the blame when other guys don't show up. But you also have to be consistent when it comes to talking about teammates being injured and not playing and other guys stepping up. But we like to ignore that fact with Tracy McGrady.
No, like we're making excuses for like I don't understand. Again, there's no context to anything. You could read off all of the players.
We were just reading off his teammates to tell you that it's hard to drag bums.
But what we're not talking about in context, nobody's even talking about him winning a championship or getting to a conference finals or anything. We're talking about getting out of the first round.
Mike, we already did this before.
Like
he always played teams that were better than him.
So the 01 team that you talked about, the 01 Magic team, they were a 7 seed. They got a gentleman's sweep. The next year, they were the 5 seed. Is that not something that maybe they can win, right? 4 or 5
and they lost to the better team.
They got another gentleman's sweep by the Hornets.
That Hornets team was better than that Magic team. We listed off all those guys already.
Was a veteran team that was better than them. They had Stacey Augmon, PJ Brown, Matt Bullard, Eldon Campbell, Baron Davis, George Lynch.
Please stop.
Who? Eldon Campbell is what?
And he was better than 95% of the rest of that Magic roster.
Are you crazy? George Lynch, Jamal McGlure, Jamal Mashburn.
Like, let's not act like that Hornets team wasn't good.
It's not.
It's better than that Magic team.
That's why the Nets promptly got them out in 5.
The Nets team was better than that team.
Baron Davis, David Wesley was a 1-2 was a backcourt that they had to be dealt with in the NBA. Are you crazy? Like,
the Nets would have ran through the Magic too.
Let's not have this memory where we don't remember what these players were. PJ Brown was almost a defensive, like he was a defensive problem
in the 90s.
We're talking about
what? 2002, 2003, when he's already 10 years in the league.
So guys can't be good 10 years in the league.
That's what they call journeyman.
Thank you, Blackhart. Thank you.
PJ Brown, 10 years in the league, still wasn't good? Does that mean all players who are 10 years in the league can't be good, Michael? Or are we just going to do this?
Are we going to just generalize everything and just jump out the window with everything?
I'm just trying to figure out.
The next year after the Hornets was when they were up 3-1 and then couldn't win. And then you're going to give me the excuse that they lost to the Pistons. So that's that excuse because it's just they're not a good team.
They should have.
Yet when Doc said that in a press conference a few weeks ago, everyone laughed at him and said, "Stop making excuses." When Doc said it doesn't. No, Doc, you didn't get the job done. When it comes to Tracy McGrady, the team wasn't good enough.
I didn't say that.
McGrady. So if you could get up like that,
he-
you should be able to close it out. Absolutely. But again, why do we
that
act
Charlotte
like?
Hornets- yo,
Why do we
PJ
act like
Brown-
it's like these people don't just have good teammates to help?
PJ Brown averaged a double and 2 blocks in that season.
So that means he was an okay player.
So do
he did his
we
job.
do we act? Are we going to continue to act like role players and teammates don't matter, or is it just like Trace McGrady?
No,
couldn't do it
we're
by
gonna
himself?
act like if he's the superstar, if he's the closer, he should be able to get out of the first round. Like these teams ain't the only team that is incredibly lopsided is that Orlando Detroit series. That's the only one lopsided.
These
All
Charlotte
of these
Hornets-
all of these other series, he was the best player on the court. Are you gonna argue with me with that or not? Was he not the best player on the court in all of those other series except the Detroit
100%.
series?
100%.
So how is it that he gets a pass for not getting out of the first round? He's the best player on
They
the
play
floor.
better teams. Basketball is a 5-on-5
the
sport.
teams are not lopsided to where he
That
shouldn't be
team
able
is
to overcome
lopsided.
that. That's the point.
That-
and if
but
he's
that
not
team
good
is.
enough to overcome it, then that's fine. I'm not. There's no problem.
Mike, how
with
many
that.
playoff
The problem
series-
is saying that this man is a top 5 shooting guard of all time when he's
That's not what this argument is right now.
But that's
not
why
what
he's
this is right
but that
now.
is why I consider him overrated because he's not that guy.
That's not
He's
what he.
never
That's not
been
what this
that guy.
argument is. You're creating
But
this
my
argument for something
argument,
else.
no, my argument with Tracy McGrady has always been he's overrated. And everyone gets all upset when I say he's overrated.
Mike,
He's
where would you put
not-
Kobe Bryant in your top 10?
With 6, 5.
6,
No,
5. Okay.
Because Steph could
5.
possibly.
When
that, but
when
yeah.
Kobe was the only guy on his team, how many playoff series did he win?
I think 1 or 2.
0. Before
They
he
didn't
got
beat-
Pau Gasol.
They didn't beat Phoenix.
No, they didn't. Remember?
That series where he hit the jump shot and did the fist pump in the white jerseys, they didn't win that series.
Didn't they lose that series because Kobe
And then
quit?
lost the next. That's not that same series, I don't believe.
When Kobe quit in 06?
Okay.
How many-
So
And
if
why
he
did they
doesn't-
lose that series?
Phoenix is better than them.
Why does he get that? Why does Kobe Bryant get
let
that?
me answer the
But
question.
Tracy McGrady doesn't get that. That is the most hypocritical thing I've
It's
ever
not-
heard in my life.
it's-
In my life.
I'll wait till you stop screaming. I'll wait till you stop screaming. I'll wait till you stop. I'll wait. Because, again, just like the LeBron 2015 season we were talking about, it's not a consistent pattern with him. That's why Kobe's not overrated, because we've seen Kobe overcome this and beat teams that his
With
team was not better than.
teammates.
Hold on a second.
With
Stop doing
teammates.
But I've seen
Yo, hold
Kobe
on.
win series where his team was not the better team.
Let me ask you something, Mike. The question was, how many series did Kobe win when he was the guy and he was by himself, right? And the answer is 0.
Either 0 or 1.
The answer is 0, and the reason why it's 0, and it's 0, and it was only a handful of years, right? But we can have this thing where we're relevancy, right? Where we're saying, oh, Kobe won 5 rings, right? We know him for winning 2 without Shaq and 3 with Shaq, right? But we think about how many series did he win when he was by himself, and it's 0. But because it didn't happen that many times, because he wasn't by himself for that long,
What
we can say, oh, there's no consistency there because he wasn't by himself for that long. But when he was by himself, the answer is 0. He didn't
What
get
year?
far.
What year did Phil Jackson come back? That's all I need to know.
That was it, 2007, 8?
Before you answer that question, what does it matter?
Because once again, I know that Phil Jackson never lost a first round series, which again
Was in 2006.
which again, if Kobe never lost a first round series, comes back to my point that Tracy McGrady can't get out of the first round. That is the point. He cannot be an all-time great and cannot get out of the first round. That's what
Kobe
makes
didn't
him
get out of the first round
overrated.
without good teammates. Did he not?
We're just gonna keep going in circles because
you're not giving the same. You're not being consistent. I'm giving you examples, and you're saying, "Oh, that's outliers." I can only give you what's available, right? I can only give you what's here. Without Pau Gasol, what was Kobe Bryant? Missing the playoffs or getting walked out of the playoffs, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Thank you. And then before Pau Gasol, and we do that little gap that nobody likes to talk about in Kobe's career where they weren't good. Who shared the video of Robert Horry hitting the fucking three-pointer in the group chat? Does Kobe get credit for Robert Horry hitting that shot?
No.
No, Robert Horry gets credit for hitting that shot. So your supporting cast matters. And when you don't have a supporting cast, you end up not winning series. Mm-hmm. Like we saw with Kobe Bryant not winning that Phoenix series. Because he didn't have a good supporting cast. And then what happened after that series? If he requests a trade.
So if that's the case, then we can't hold any of these superstars accountable then, because if the team's not good enough, then it doesn't matter if you play good or not. Doesn't matter. Your team's not good enough. We won't hold you to this superstar standard because your team's not good enough. We won't expect you to play better and elevate your teammates because your team's not good enough. That's what you're telling me. We're not supposed to expect
hold Kobe to the same standard.
I do hold Kobe to the same standard.
You're not.
But again, your excuse
for why they lost in 06 was they were better.
Individual seasons. That's what you're looking at. Individual one blip. I'm talking about a whole career where this man did this his whole career.
We just broke down 6 different playoff series.
Do we have to go through and break down Kobe's teammates as well?
It's irrelevant to break down.
It's not irrelevant.
Because again, like I said before,
no, actually, that is relevant, Mike. Because
it's
just
not
how wait. It was because the same way how you just same way how homie over here will just break it down. Tracy McGrady's playoff run teammates. Now, if you ran down Kobe's from compared to when he first came in before Shaq came into play, look at the roster then, and then what happened later on in the late 2000s, and look at the roster then. 2.5 people that he had over him to win a championship, right?
Ask Ross about the Smush Parker days. He'll tell you all about him.
Ron Artest. That was 3 people right there. Well, technically, one of them is like a half.
So again, all I'm going to just state is if we can agree that Tracy McGrady was the best player on the floor, why is it that we cannot then expect the best player on the floor to elevate his team and get a win?
Because sometimes teammates aren't good.
And if that same player consistently is the best player on the floor, but cannot win over and over again, when does it stop being about the teammates and it starts being he's not good enough? We need to get him more help because he's not good enough.
I got you.
Michael Jordan, 1989, Boston Celtics.
Yes. And this is
Michael Jordan tennis shoes.
And this is a situation that you used once before. I was just about to bring this up. Good job, Dylan. And the reason why this is such a great scenario is because Michael Jordan was not able to elevate his team against a better team.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if we're
and do I not state that as a reason as to why he's not better than LeBron? Because before he got Pippen, he was getting dog walked out of the playoffs. Have you not heard me say that before? Is that not the same thing that I'm saying right now?
Supporting cast. He needed help. What are we missing? Are we going to continue
I like that
to dismiss the
Tracy
fact
McGrady
that
gets
help?
held to one standard, but nobody else gets held to this standard.
He gets held to this standard when you turn around and tell me that he's in the same breath with Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade. He's not.
Because guess what? Those guys will tell you he is. And Kobe did tell you.
You know why they will tell you that? Because they respect him.
Because he was a fucking problem.
Then they're not going to disrespect that man.
Because he was a fucking problem.
They're not going to disrespect that man. But we know I don't know Tracy McGrady. He could be a very nice man. I actually think he's a very nice man. But I am analyzing his career, and he is not as good as those guys I just named.
You are not giving him the same type of respect and
He's not,
outlook that
he's
you
not
do
that
other
good.
players.
We can agree to disagree because he's
all
not
those
that guy.
guys. All those guys you named had better teams.
They all had help. Imagine holding a guy to one standard and saying he doesn't have help, he shouldn't need help. Against guys who had to win with help.
But all of those guys were able to at least win series.
With help.
Okay. Like I said, all right. We're just gonna go in a circle because we're just gonna say that Tracy McGrady never had help. He was out there with 12 high school kids. That's it. None of them other guys were professionals. They're all high school kids. So okay.
So professionals can't be bad at basketball?
No, because we're just doing back and forth. Because like I said, when I said that the Magic and the Hornets were equal, you said no, they weren't. Okay,
they weren't.
Fine. I disagree.
You got David Wesley, Baron Davis. You got David Wesley, Baron Davis, Jamal. Do you remember Jamal?
You're thinking about these guys in a whole in their career. That series, Tracy McGrady,
yes, that series, Tracy McGrady was the best player, right? Yo, for instance, the Heat versus Spurs second time around, LeBron was the best player on the court. He was almost swept by the Spurs because they were the better team.
But do we turn around and then say that LeBron doesn't get credit for that? Or do we say, hey, you lost. That's it. You lost. We're not going to sit here and prop you. You lost. I'm sorry.
LeBron, we if you go back and look at that game, that series, even commentators were saying, yo, LeBron needs help because even Dwayne Wade was injured that series.
LeBron for that series. He lost.
So why are you
I'm not blaming Tracy McGrady for them
losing. He's overrated.
He's overrated because he did not win. He did not win.
So how is that not blame?
At what point is it again? Like it's either because you're going back and forth. It's either team or it's Tracy. It's team or it's Tracy. Why can't it be that Tracy McGrady is the best player on the team? His team has a lead, or his team is in the series because the other ones, the early Magic ones, the first two, they got it was best of fives and they lost in 4. So that's basically a gentleman's sweep.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't we can't expect better production from he's not elevating his players around him? And again, I'm only comparing him to these all-time greats. If we're just talking about Tracy McGrady in a vacuum, that's fine. That's one thing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he wasn't good. He was very good. He's not as good as those other guys. And
Mike, can you name me some all-time greats real quick that you're comparing him to?
I just named 3.
Can you say it again?
Jordan.
Who were his teammates that he had to elevate? Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, B.J. Armstrong, Horace Grant.
Steve Kerr wasn't.
John Paxson.
Steve Kerr, who made some.
Steve Kerr wasn't that good. Don't do that. Steve Kerr wasn't that good.
Steve Kerr did knock down some important shots for Michael.
He was
John Paxson.
He's a career backup point guard. Stop it.
Career backup point guard who hit big shots. Did he not?
Yo, listen to this, y'all.
So you're gonna sit here and tell me because Steve Kerr makes big shots, was he better than Darryl Armstrong? Was he better? Because he's not.
I will not say that, but if we're gonna say with one of the Steve Kerr, who's one of the best 3-point shooters of all time,
he put Steve Kerr in that position to make that shot. Did he not? Did he not put him in that position?
Did he not tell him? Dennis Rodman
did he not tell him stand there? You're gonna get the ball, make the shot. Did he not do that?
Did he have to elevate Dennis Rodman?
He had to.
And Scotty.
Yeah. Not Scotty. Not Scotty.
Top 50 players of all time.
He did not have to elevate Scotty.
Check these stats out.
Did not have to elevate
that
Scotty.
playoff series versus the Hornets, Tracy McGrady averaged 30.8 points a game. The next highest scorer was Darryl Armstrong with 15 points. Then Troy Hudson with 12. And then it's 8, 4. I mean 8, 6.5 and 4.8.
We have to put context on that because that's not today's NBA where they're scoring 120 points a game. So let's not act, not act like that 15 is not the equivalent to about a 20-point score.
Bro,
so let's not do that either because they were averaging 90 points a game back then.
Game one,
scoring a third of their points.
Game 1, the score was 85 to 102. Game 2, the score was 100 to 110. Game 3, the score was 111 to 103. Are you kidding me right now, bro?
So again, he's still scoring a third of their points.
No, you just said that they weren't scoring. They were averaging 90 points and they were over 100.
Okay, Jen. So instead of
You can't tell me supporting cast doesn't exist if
so
you're
you're
scoring
telling
30
me that
points and your next scorer is scoring 15 and then 12 and then 8 and then 6. You're scoring more than 4 other guys combined. Your points is
it's
combined
not, because once you get to the top, the second and the third, that's there.
just about if it's 14, 15,
You said 15 and 12.
12,
That's
15 and
27.
12,
That's
that's
27 points.
27. Okay, then 8, that puts them above 30. That's 3 guys.
Have
3
to equal your
guys.
scoring load.
Okay.
That's context.
So in that series, what was the averages on the other side?
I'm about to go right now.
If they have more than 3 people averaging 15, Mike, I want an apology.
You're not gonna get that.
You're not gonna get an apology. He's not one of the 5 best shooting guards ever.
Yeah, but the teams are better. The team is better.
He's not one of the 5 best shooting guards ever.
That's not what this argument is.
I just said that 15 minutes ago. My problem with Tracy McGrady is that he's overrated. He's not
I'm the one who holds him to that standard because he is great and he's got a lot of bullshit.
And that's why because he's not.
But that's not what this argument is. I said Jason Tatum plays like fucking Tracy McGrady. You're like,
and all I said was Jason Tatum wins more than him, which is a fact. Jason Tatum is already more accomplished than him just this season.
Yo, shout out to Jason Tatum on playing with better teams. Shout out to Jason Tatum playing on better teams.
Listen to this.
And you're getting mad. It's a fact.
Listen to this. Baron Davis with 22.6, right? David Wesley 15.8, Jamal McGlure with 12.3, Eldon Campbell 13.6, PJ Brown 10.2. You got 5 guys
averaging double figures. So let's inflate it to today's NBA.
If
that's what we're gonna do.
So
that 15 is now 20. That 10 is 15. That 10 is 15, and that 10 is 15.
So they had 2 players.
I knew I liked this man. I like this man.
You know how ridiculous that comment is?
It's not.
It's not?
It's not.
Did you read it?
Prime Tmac over everyone but Kobe. Absolutely.
I'm going home.
Absolutely.
You realize what you're saying, or you're just talking?
Dude, you are home.
You know how I feel about Tracy McGrady.
So
Tracy McGrady to me, prime Tracy McGrady is better than Dwayne Wade. 100%.
No, what you just said is prime Tmac is better than Jordan. That's what you just said.
Fuck Michael. I don't care.
Good night, guys. Good night.
I don't care about Michael.
Wow.
Michael's in his own fucking thing. Like, we don't talk about Michael.
Like his own thing because he's better. Yeah, his own thing.
I said top 3.
He's not better than Dwayne Wade either. He's not better.
Prime T-Mac's better than prime Dwayne Wade. I will fight anyone who says otherwise. Give me the 6'8" guy who can literally do it all versus the 6'3" guy who is limited by his shooting ability.
He's not better than.
He's not limited by his shooting ability? Well, please tell me how great of a 3-point shooter Dwayne Wade is.
Despite his lack of shooting that you claim, he was still able to get all of those points.
Fantastic. Great. I'm glad he was healthy.
Doing something right.
Glad he was healthy. Glad he was healthy.
And when all else fails, injured.
I can only
latter years of his career. Latter years of his career.
Dwayne Wade was injured in the end of his career too. Still managed to put up points and contribute.
Damn, that's great. I'm glad he had a healthy career. I'm glad we hold all of these guys to one standard and McGrady to another.
He's not.
I'm glad.
See, this is the guy that you're co-signing. This guy right here. This is the guy that you're co-signing. Yep.
I'm pretty sure he did though. I'm pretty sure he did.
Anything that's a crawl under your skin, Mike.
I'm actually sure that he did put 50 on Jordan.
I think he did.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, prime Jordan. No, he did face Jordan. He did in fact face Jordan, and he did in fact give Jordan buckets. You can only play who's in front of you, Michael, whether it's 40-year-old Jordan or not.
You can only play who's in front of you.
Or like he do to do. You don't want to think about that either.
Hey man, I think you should be more fair to Tmac. But you're also the guy that says Vince Carter's better than Tmac, so you're fucking crazy.
But you can, I'll have that argument, and I'll take. If you think Tracy's better than Vince, all right, that's cool.
I know Tracy's better than Vince.
That's cool. We can debate
Tracy
that.
McGrady put 43 points on Jordan one time.
But we're not gonna sit here and act like because I'm gonna be here for another hour.
43 points in the.
I don't care about that. No, I'm not talking about that.
3 between the two.
Jordan
with 5 and McGrady with 3 wins.
I was going to talk about what is the difference then between Tracy McGrady and Allen Iverson, but I'm not going to sit here for an hour with you.
Once team started playing zone defense, Allen Iverson shit the bed.
What?
Allen Iverson's time in Philly without anybody else, he stopped scoring a lot, and then they had to move out because he was a fucking malcontent.
When did he have anyone in Philly?
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody.
The scoring load he couldn't spread the scoring load, so he had to continue being a guy. They started playing zone defenses, and then what are you doing?
So,
because remember, when did zone defenses become legal in the NBA?
I just want to know how Allen Iverson got that Sixers team to the finals. And who was on that Sixers team?
Defensive Player of the Year, Dikembe Mutombo.
Oh, he makes baskets?
No, but he also did have referees on his side, as proven by the federal court of law.
I have to go.
Are we acting like those referees didn't spend time in jail, Michael, for robbing that Milwaukee Bucks series?
That is a fact. Versus Ray Allen, yeah.
Are we going to act like those referees who reffed those games in those series did not spend jail time, Michael?
So
I guess and those that went against Rasheed Wallace too.
So those referees did. So is there an asterisk next to that Sixers team then? That's what you're telling me?
There's an asterisk everywhere.
No, but it was a dark time in the NBA.
Is there an asterisk next to that team?
No, there should be an asterisk next to those Lakers titles.
Is there an asterisk next to that?
Well, they didn't win shit, so why should there be an asterisk next to them? That's all I'm saying. Why is there an asterisk for a team that didn't win anything? There should be an asterisk on those Lakers teams.
Mm-hmm. I just know that Allen Iverson basically was with the same thing.
And then Allen Iverson got teammates in Denver, and they didn't do anything.
But Allen Iverson was able to consistently get out of the first round.
Oh, with teammates?
Oh, by himself.
I have to go. I have to go because he's by himself.
Eric Snow is better than every teammate that played on those Orlando Magic teams.
He's by himself, and he's by himself. But
Larry Hughes is also better than everybody who's on those Magic teams.
Mike, it's all about the unsung heroes of those teams back then.
Like I said, I didn't realize that Tracy McGrady was playing with the Washington Generals his whole career. So
in Orlando,
he was. Y'all have a good night. I have to go.
Yo,
wow.
Yo, what the fuck?
I'd like to let the record show that Larry Hughes and Eric Snow are better than any teammate that Tracy McGrady had in Orlando.
This thing when you walk off the set, bro.
They were.
Like,
I don't know what else to say.
Yo,
can we all? Viewers at home, can we agree that Mike is just hating? Can we just agree that Mike is just hating?
Wow. That's because
I had nothing to do with this.
He doesn't like Trace McGrady, but he also doesn't like that style of play. And we had this argument before how Mike's emotions skew his actual reasoning behind how he why he says the things he says. He doesn't like that style of play, which is a Tracy McGrady, James Harden, anybody that's a ball dominant guard, and then he'll also put in a factor of, oh, they didn't win. And when you do that with Tracy McGrady, you have to look at all the factors as far as like he didn't have a good team. He didn't have a good team. He had to put all these guys on his back, and it wasn't enough. Like, come on, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. I can't believe he was trying to like
Listen, I
line
understand.
up. You can't
No,
lie.
I understand it. You know what I'm saying? It was the same way for Kobe too. Before he came in, he had no one, and then all of a sudden, when Shaq came into play, and then they started bringing the rightful pieces, Robert Horry and everything else, Derek Fisher.
I would like to
That's when
remind
they
everybody
started
that
winning
basketball
again.
is a team
So
game.
it really became that method where, yo, you're going to need a second, a third, a fourth person sometimes. That means that's going to help you carry that fucking load. One person cannot fucking do it. It's common fucking sense. As we've seen earlier in this series between Mavericks and the Warriors, I said that to y'all before. Luka is not going to be able to win this series by himself. He's going to need another star right next to him to carry that load with him.
I would like to remind everybody at home that basketball is indeed 5-on-5. And then you have guys on your bench who come in and also play. In the playoffs, sometimes you go 8 deep, sometimes you go 9 deep. And all of those guys contribute to wins. And it's not just one guy. And I don't know who the basketball player is that led everybody to believe that one guy has won everything. I know the media likes to say that Michael Jordan did everything by himself, but like that never happened. And
Bro, LeBron averaged a 40-point triple double and did not win because of his supporting cast, bro.
so I would like everybody to remember that at home. Basketball is a team game. No matter how good one player is, you could
There
fucking
is no
lose.
I in team.
We got to see that Brooklyn Nets versus Boston Celtics. We had the two best players in the series, and we got fucking swept. It's a team game, ladies and
By
gentlemen.
two superstars and role players.
Team basketball matters.
Is Jerry West the guy that got the Finals MVP and lost?
Finals MVP for fucking losing. Teams matter. It's okay, Michael.
The logo.
It's okay, Michael.
The logo. He said, you know
but
what?
We're doing with the down parts of these guys' careers like we do with the fucking Jordan coming back in wearing 45. It never happened. Never happened. Kobe Bryant losing the first round never happened.
Yep. That's crazy.
It's all right. Well, context.
Wow, that's crazy.
But
damn,
again, guys, like and subscribe, share, hit that bell, follow the ping. Dylan. Mike is back.
You cool off there, big fella?
Oh, snap.
You got some water. You're all right now, big fella.
Like that. I knew you could walk out like that, Mike.
It's signing off, but
damn.
My point is to say
a comment that was set for you.
Oh.
I don't agree with this one.
I also don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either.
He had Jason Terry, he had Sean Marion,
Terry,
Peja Stojakovic, Jason Kidd, JJ Barea, Tyson Chandler, Brandon Haywood, Deshaun Stevenson.
Yeah,
I've said multiple times that Dallas team is better than people give it credit for.
Yes, it's not as good as that Heat team, but they were a good team.
Team was stacked.
Teammates matter, Mike.
They were like an unorthodox balanced team. Weirdly, it was.
Yeah, it worked. They all played well together, and they weren't the better team, but they won because they played great together as a team.
But Dirk managed to play better and elevate his teammates.
Are we gonna act like Mike? Let's just ignore the fact that those players are good players. All right, give me my one.
Yeah.
Let me say goodbye.
Oh my god, Mike really walked off the set, bro.
I had something I had to do.
All right,
so
goodbye. _podcast Poppy _ on all fucking platforms. Mike's a hater and ignores context when it's in favor of his argument.
Dylan looks like a straight crip.
Appreciate y'all. I know I came in a little late, but I'm here. Put the kids away. Fuck them kids. We're out here.
Damn.
Tuck them kids out.
People some Roman shit.
How do I do this now?
Acknowledge me.
Make this full screen.
Blackhart.
What do you do?
I don't know how to change people. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Bam.
Oh, see your soul screen. Blackheart, OTTI. Season finale today. Well, later on today, 10:15 live watch party for AEW's Double or Nothing Sunday on Vibe Out. We'll be on vacation till before SummerSlam, and Big Mike, you're gonna be going against Shar and King Reezy for the OTTR title. Good luck with that.
I'm going against Shar.
I hope Mike gets his fucking ass waxed.
Well, technically, he lost earlier during WrestleMania at the dead last question. So
Good. Fuck him.
Lost on the last question.
Damn, but yeah. So
Tito Santana
on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook groups, and wherever you find your podcast from. Cop some merch too. Bonfire, Teesprings, and DecoSlice.com.
Right.
This is for you, Blackheart.
It's my ass, French.
All right, let's go to Breezy.
Celtics is 6, bitch.
Shout out to all the followers and supporters and listeners. Follow me on @Breezy5X on Twitter. Follow me at Breezy__Bills BILZ on Instagram. That Boston and Miami series is I don't know. It's up for grabs. I don't know if they're gonna close it out the next game. They should, but we all know the NBA does some weird stuff, so it might go 7. You never know. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'm out.
All right, here comes this bum.
I just state solid opinions. Oh.
M40.
All right, Dylan, we're fighting each other.
All right, let's go. We're fighting.
Oh,
I hate you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button. Thank you to Twitch for live streaming. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube. Be in here. I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be traveling. But I know tomorrow's going to be a fun. Speak on it. Post game live is going to be fun tomorrow. Follow me on the socials. IAM_MBJ on all the socials. Follow Speak on the Podcast on IG as well. And next Tuesday will be our finals preview show. We're going to have some special guests on for that. And go Dubs. Not go Dubs because I don't know who I'm picking yet. But congratulations to the Dubs for their win tonight. Shout out to Steph Curry for finally getting the Finals MVP.
I hate this award so much.
I don't like it either. Maybe it'll grow on me, but
when he got it, Andre was like, "Oh, you finally got one."
Hey, Tmac never did.
Well, that award never existed until now. So,
but he never had a chance to win it because he never got to the conference finals. But
man, it sucks when teams are bad.
But
hey, you need help.
Whatever.
Basketball's a 5-on-5 game.
Break your back for it. Oh,
it sucks when you play with the Washington Generals.
He did. I'm glad you said it.
I can't.
I'm glad you said it.
But
at least they were a team. But even though they lost, they played as a team.
Well, Blackheart, in case you didn't know this, the Washington Generals never win. They travel around the world losing
every time.
Get paid just to lose. That's awesome.
Yep, and that's what they did with Tracy
for years.
For years. So,
didn't give him the help plus injuries. You know what I call unfortunate accidents.
I could
or
get down with
series
that.
of unfortunate events. How about that?
Go ahead.
T-Mac could have been the best, but unfortunately, body
And was
failed
still
him.
so good they put him in the
The
hall.
body failed him. The organizations that he was with failed him. But more importantly, his teammates failed him.
I like this guy. He should come on more.
Take it how you want it. Period.
This guy's great.
So T-Mac, suck my tailpipe. You ain't shit. Just because you sold some sneakers, that'll make you all.
Sneakers didn't sell well.
We done here. We done here, Mike. Just end this thing now.
Just shut it down. Just shut it down. Heat
Fuck people
7.
at the end of the day. Kiss my ass.
Heat,
At least he won
Heat
a
7.
ring.
Heat 7. Heat 7. Heat 7.
You're sweating over there, huh?
A little bit.